back to ESL App Class and our third part on our grammar lesson on verb tenses. Now in parts 1 and 2 we went through each of the verb tenses individually and discussed in what situations we should use each one of them. Now today is probably the most important lesson. Today we are going to look at comparing verb tenses that are often used incorrectly, and we want to compare those common mistakes. So the first one we're going to compare is the present simple, I eat, versus the present continuous, I am eating. Okay. Then we are going to compare the simple past of I ate with the present perfect simple I have eaten, which even though it is a present tense, it is often used for past tense situations. And then we are going to compare the present perfect simple with the present perfect continuous. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the present simple, something like I do, versus the present continuous, I am doing. Okay, so first of all, we use I do for general things or things that happen regularly. Okay, and then we use I am doing for continuous things happening at or around the time of speaking. So for example here, my friend speaks English and French. Just generally speaking, she speaks English and French. She knows both languages. If we look at this example, can you understand them? They are speaking French. In that case, I'm talking about those people that are speaking at the table next to us right now at this moment. Okay, they are speaking French. We also use I do for permanent things, and we use I am doing for temporary things. I did this in one of my challenges on Facebook, and I tricked many people. Many people assumed we should be using the simple, but in fact, because it was a temporary situation, we should be using the continuous. Let's take these two sentences as examples. My parents live on our family farm. It was established by my grandpa. So my parents live on our family farm. That's a permanent thing, right? My dad has lived on that farm his entire life. My mom has lived on that farm since she married my dad, right? And they will likely die on that farm, right? They're permanently living there. If we compare that with this example, we are living in a rental apartment until we can buy our own home. So my husband and I and our son, we rent an apartment because we do not own our own home. But we don't plan this to be permanent. Okay, we don't plan to live in this apartment forever. We know that it's temporary. Now it might be 1 year, it might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, but it is temporary until we buy our own home. So that's when we would say we are living in a rental apartment. Okay, now the third one here is really kind of a tricky one. It's using the word always. Now, usually when we think of the word always, we would think that that's a general thing or something that happens regularly. So I should always use I do, not I am doing. However, there is an exception, okay? If you are talking about something you do every time, okay, something you do regularly, then yes, you're going to use the simple, the present simple. I always work hard, okay? You're talking about a general thing, something you regularly do, you regularly work hard, okay? But if we use always with the continuous verb tense, it has a bit of a different meaning. It means that maybe you do it too much, and it kind of gives the feeling like you're complaining about something, okay? So maybe I say to my husband, "You are always working. Let's do something fun tonight instead." Right? So maybe my husband comes home from work, we have dinner, I put baby to bed, and I come out to the living room and I find my husband on his computer working. Ugh, well, I'm bored. I don't want him to work at night. It's 9 o'clock at night. Let's do something fun. Let's watch a movie. Let's play a game. Come on, you don't have to work all the time. So I want to kind of complain to him about that, right? I'm saying that he's working too much. So then I say, "You are always working." Okay? That gives a feeling like I'm complaining. And I'm not just saying that you do it regularly, but I'm saying that you do it too much. Okay? Now, let's go to the next page. Now, the next one, present simple and present continuous again. This is another bit of a tricky one. Okay? When we're using the be verb, okay, be verb, remember, is, am, or are in the present tense. If it's the present continuous tense, then it's is, am, or are being. Okay? We can use this when we are talking about behavior and only about behavior. Okay? If I was to say, "He is a teacher," that's perfect. Okay? I'm going to use the present simple tense in that case. But a teacher is not a behavior. Okay? So I cannot use this exception here that we're going to talk about, okay? Let's take a look at these examples. I don't like him. He is so rude. When I use the present simple, he is, then I'm talking about the rude is a usual behavior for him. That's why I don't like him, okay? I don't like rude people. And so I don't like him because he is so rude. However, sometimes people act different than normal, right? Maybe he's normally a really nice guy. He's not a rude guy normally. But today, for some reason, he is being rude. Then we are going to use the continuous verb in that situation for unusual behavior, okay? So for example, he is a nice guy. I don't know why he is being so rude. I know him. He's a nice guy. I like him. He's a good guy. He's usually very polite. But today, he is being really rude. And I don't know why, right? So I want to show that that's unusual behavior for him. So I'm going to use the present continuous verb tense. He is being rude. One note, though, this can only be used for behaviors. It cannot be used in any instance that we use the be verb. Okay? Now, the other thing that's very important to remember when we're talking simple versus continuous, and this isn't just present simple and present continuous, this goes for past simple, past continuous, present perfect simple, present perfect continuous, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous, all of the different simple and continuous verb forms. Some verbs just simply we do not use in continuous form. Here are a list of some of the most common examples, some very common verbs that we will not usually use in the continuous form, okay? Like, right? I like chocolate, not I am liking chocolate, okay? I want, not I am wanting. I need, not I am needing, okay? I know, not I am knowing, okay? So usually these ones you just always use in simple, not in continuous, okay? Now there are a few exceptions to this rule. One is the word think, okay? It depends on the meaning of think. Think has different meanings. Think can mean I believe something, okay? So, for example, I think God is real, okay? That's my belief, okay? It can mean an opinion, right? The example here, I think he is very handsome. That's my opinion, Okay, my belief kind of too. In that instance, when I'm talking about a belief or an opinion, something I believe, that should be, I should use the noun there, sorry. Anyways, something I believe or something that is my opinion, then I'm not going to use the continuous tense. I'm only going to use the simple tense, okay? But when think means to consider something, okay? You're considering an option, okay? You want to choose between A and B. Maybe you want to choose between buying the red car or buying the blue car. You need to consider the benefits of the red car and the benefits of the blue car, right? In that instance, then yes, we can use present continuous tense. In this example, I'm thinking about getting a new car, not I think about getting a new car. Yes, you can use present simple. I'm not saying you cannot use present simple. But if you say I think about getting a new car, then that is talking just generally. I always think about getting a new car. It's something I regularly do. But if I say I am thinking about getting a new car, then that is something it's kind of a recent thing that I've been considering. Okay, so most commonly we would use the continuous in that instance. Some more verbs that we usually always use in the simple: see, hear, smell, taste, look, and feel. These are usually used only in the simple and not in the continuous. However, the two exceptions, look and feel, can be used in the continuous, really with no change in meaning. Okay, so what do you hear? Or maybe I could say, how do you feel? Or I could say, how are you feeling? How do you feel and how are you feeling? Really, there's no difference in meaning in that. Okay, I can use either one. But I should not say, what are you hearing? Okay, we cannot use hear, smell, taste, or see in the continuous. And then the last one I want to discuss today is have. And again, similar to think, it depends on the meaning of have. If I'm talking about possessing something, okay, like I have a cell phone, that means I own it, I possess it. Or I have a baby, just like I have a husband, right? I have a sister. I have a mother. That means, I can't own a person, but do you understand what I mean? You possess that relationship, right? That person is part of your family. I have a friend, right? Something like that. However, if we use have when we are talking about an experience, not a possession, but more the action, okay? With the possession, have is a state verb. It's not an action verb. There are two kinds of verbs. I believe I mentioned this in one of either part 1 or part 2. There are two kinds of verbs. There's an action verb, something I do, like walk, run, play. And then there's a state verb that describes a state of being or a state of existence. Something like I am a teacher. I have a sister, right? Am and have are state verbs. So when we're using have as a state, I have a cell phone, I have a baby, then we cannot use the continuous tense. We only use the simple tense. However, the verb have can also be used as an action, meaning to experience something. And in that instance, in that meaning, then we can use the continuous tense. For example, I am having a bad day. Okay. My husband called me during his lunch break and said, how is your day going? Well, today, to be honest, is kind of a bad day because my son is teething. He's getting his first tooth, so he doesn't feel very good. All right, and so it's not a very good day for him and me because it's a challenging day because he doesn't feel well. So when my husband says, hey, how is your day going? I can say, oh, we are having a bad day today, right? Similarly, okay, let's compare these two meanings. I have a baby. That means I am a mother and I have a baby. If I say I am having a baby, that has a different meaning. That means that I am pregnant and I am giving birth. Okay? So if I say I am having a baby, it can have two meanings. One, it can mean I am pregnant right now. Maybe I'm 3 months pregnant or I'm 5 months pregnant. So I am having a baby. We are having a baby in July. Okay, that means the baby will be born in July. It can also mean that right now I'm giving birth, right? So why didn't Tara come to the party? Oh, she's in the hospital. She's having her baby, right? That means she's in the hospital right now giving birth. Okay, and so that is an action, that's an experience, and so then we can use that in the continuous form. Okay, now let's move on to past simple versus present perfect simple, because we can often also we can use both of these for actions either that began in the past or actually completed actions in the past. So sometimes it can be confusing. Let's look at the first one. So if I use the present simple of I did, that does not tell me anything about now. Okay. However, if I use the present perfect, I have done, notice that it is a present verb tense. That means it tells me something about now. Okay? And in this comparison, it means that it will continue to now. If we compare these, if I say they went on holiday, that does not tell me if they are still on holiday or if they have returned. I don't know. Okay, it doesn't tell me anything about that. So if I know that they have returned, I definitely want to use the simple past. They went on holiday, but they are home now. Okay, if now is different than the past, than the action, then I have to use the simple. Okay, but if now is the same, okay, if they went on holiday and they are still on holiday, they have not come home yet, then I'm going to use the present perfect simple, and that shows that they are still gone. Okay, they are still on holiday. So I would say they have gone on holiday. They'll be back next week. Okay, so they are still on holiday now. It continues till now. So they went on holiday, but now they are home, or they have gone on a holiday. They will be back next week. Similarly, I've given a second example here just to show you a second time, giving another example. He lost his keys. That doesn't tell me anything about now. I'm going to use this especially if now is different. So he lost his keys, but now he has found them, right? He found them. Here, he has lost his keys. That means he does not have his keys currently. Okay, if I just simply say he lost his keys, I don't know if right now he has them or he doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't tell me anything about now. But if I say he has lost his keys, then I know that currently he does not have his keys. The keys are still lost. Okay, so there's an important part. Is that situation continuing to now? If it is continuing to now, I'm most likely going to use the perfect. But if it is not continuing to now, if now is different, or if I'm not sure, then I'm going to use the simple past. Okay. Comparing one more way, we use the perfect for a new or recent event, a new or recent happening. But if it is not new or recent, if it's very old, then I'm going to use the simple past. For example, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone in 1876. Well, 1876 is a long time ago, right? It is not new, it is not recent. So I'm just going to use the simple past. But here, Samsung has invented a new smartphone. Well, that's new. That's recent. Every year, Samsung and iPhone and all the different companies are inventing new models and new phones and new technologies every year, right? Practically every year they come out with a new phone. So we're talking about a new or a recent happening. Then I'm going to use the perfect verb there, has invented. Similarly, okay, it doesn't have to be really old event, but it's not new information anymore, okay? If it is new information, for example, remember in the past where I just said, I am having a baby, okay? She is having a baby. That means she is pregnant or she is giving birth. So if I use the perfect, she has had her baby, that means Sarah has had her baby. That means that she just recently gave birth, and I'm giving this information. This is new information to you. Okay? If to you, the listener, the person I'm speaking to, this is new information, and I'm sharing this new information to you. So I'm going to use the perfect verb tense. She has had her baby. So we're going to use this thing like, hey, did you hear? Hey, did you know? You know, that all that, hey, did you know? Hey, did you hear? I'm giving you some new information, that new gossip, right? Hey, did you know that Sarah and Tom have broken up, right? Maybe Sarah and Tom were boyfriend and girlfriend and they broke up, right? Then I'm going to say they have broken up because I'm sharing this new information for you. However, as that situation or as that conversation continues, it's not new information anymore. So the rest of that conversation is going to be used in simple past. So if you say this, hey, guess what? Did you hear Sarah has had her baby? You're giving me that new information. I'm going to respond not in perfect because it's not new information for you. I'm going to respond in the past simple. Really? That's so exciting. When did she have the baby? Right? When did she have the baby? Did she have? That is simple. If it was perfect, I would say when has she had the baby? That doesn't make sense because you can't use perfect with when. But anyways, you're not going to use perfect in that situation. You're going to use the simple in that situation. Okay. Let's continue on to the next page. I believe I have one more page of comparisons. Yes. Okay. We are going to use the past simple when we have time adverbs or time expressions, adverb expressions that express a finished time. Something like yesterday. Yesterday is finished. Last week is finished. In 2007. 2007 is finished. Okay? When I was a child. I'm not a child anymore, right? That's finished. When something happened is finished. But if I'm going to use a time adverb or an adverb expression that continues until now, okay, something like today. Today is continue. Maybe it started, a few hours ago, but it continues until now. This week continues until now. It started in the past, but it continues until now. Since 2007. When I say since 2007, that means from 2007 until now. Okay. Also, I can use since with an adverb clause. Since I hear done here, since I got home, right? That means from that time until now, and it continues until now. So if I'm using the time adverbs that continue till now, I'm going to use the present perfect. But if I am going to use finished time expressions, I'm going to use past simple. For example, it didn't rain yesterday, or it hasn't rained today. She called me twice last week. She has called me twice this week. Okay, notice this. Today hasn't rained. This week has called. Okay, But if it's finished yesterday, didn't rain, not hasn't rained. Last week, just simply called, not has called. Okay? I met Tom in 2007. I have known Tom since 2007. Okay? You can't say I have met Tom since 2007 because the meet is only going to happen once. It's not a continuous thing that you continually do, right? When you meet someone, it's the first time you meet them. After that, you know the person, okay? So, but you're not going to say, I know Tom or I knew Tom in 2007. That sounds like you don't know him anymore. It's a different meaning, right? So I met Tom in 2007. I have known Tom since 2007. And with these adverb clauses here, when I got home or since I got home. When I got home is a finished time. It does not continue till now. So I didn't see the dog when I got home. Okay, I didn't see the dog when I got home. Since I got home continues until now. So I would say I haven't seen the dog since I got home. Okay, I didn't see the dog when I got home. I haven't seen the dog since I got home. Okay, and the last two verb tenses that I want to compare today are the present perfect simple versus the present perfect continuous. There's only two different things I want to discuss on this one, so it should be a little bit faster than the others. I have done versus I have been doing. Often both of these are used in very similar situations, okay? They're used for something that started in the past and continues into the present, okay? There is one kind of important difference here. Have done is often used for something that just recently ended, okay? If you remember our part 2 of our verb tense lesson, we were talking about the perfect verb tenses, and we talked about have done. The perfect simple, present perfect simple, can be used when something just recently ended. It continued for a length of time, but just recently ended. Or just recently happened. Sorry, just recently happened. So the focus with this one is that the action is now complete. Okay? Whereas with have been doing, usually the focus is not whether or not the action is complete. The focus is the action itself and usually the consequences of that action. Okay? I don't really know if that action is complete or not. Okay? Let's take a look at a couple examples here. Who has eaten all the chocolates? I wanted to have one for dessert. Okay, so who has eaten all the chocolates? The verb, the action of eating, is completed. There's no chocolates left. Okay, the eating is finished because all the chocolates are gone. And it's a recent thing because I didn't know that they were gone. I thought they were still there and I was going to have one for dessert, right? So who has eaten all the chocolates? I wouldn't say who has been eating all the chocolates, okay? Usually I would just say who has eaten all the chocolates. Let's compare that though with the continuous example. I can see my son has been eating chocolates because he has chocolate all over his face. Okay? You know the image of a child who goes, no, I don't know where the chocolates are, Mommy. And Mommy goes, did you have chocolate? No, Mommy, I didn't eat any chocolates. And their whole face is covered in chocolate. Okay? You know that they have been eating chocolates. Maybe they have not finished eating chocolates. Maybe they're still going to go back and there's more chocolates to continue eating. I don't know. If I say that, I don't know if the action of eating the chocolates is finished or not. But I can see that it has been happening because I can see the consequence of that action. I can see the chocolate all over his face, right? So then I'm going to use the continuous. I'm going to give you one more example here just to prove it. If we look at the simple, present perfect simple, my husband has fixed my car, so it drives perfectly now. The action of fixing the car is completed because the car drives perfectly, right? It works perfectly now. If I compare that with the other one here of the continuous, my husband has been fixing my car, so he is very dirty. I don't know if the action of fixing the car is completed or not. It might be complete, maybe the car is finished, or maybe the car is not complete. Maybe he has another week's worth of work to do on it. I have no idea. But I can see the consequence of his action because he is very dirty and he needs to have a shower, right? Why is my husband so dirty? He's dirty because he has been fixing my car. Okay, so the focus is more the action and its consequences rather than the completion of that action. One more way to compare between these two, when something is not necessarily completed, but if I want to focus more on how much, how many, or how many times, then I'm going to use have done. But if my focus is more the duration, the length of time, how long something has happened, then I'm going to use the continuous, okay? So I have read 3 chapters of my book. 3 chapters of my book, that's how much of the book I have read. How many chapters, right? 3 chapters. How many chapters? 3, right? How much of the book? Maybe 40 pages, right? I have read 40 pages of my book. Then I'm going to use the perfect simple, okay? I have read. But if I'm talking about a length of time, I have been reading for 30 minutes, okay? The length of time for 30 minutes or since 2 o'clock, okay? If I'm talking about the length of time, how long something has happened, then usually I'm going to be using the present perfect continuous in that instance. I have been reading for 30 minutes. And those are really the only 2 key ways of comparing these two. They're a little bit easier than the other ones. Okay, I think that's all for verb tenses. If you have any questions of verb tenses that I haven't discussed, please hit me up with a comment, and I'd be happy to answer your question, or if it merits a full video, I can put together another lesson on that topic if you feel that there's an area of verb tenses that I haven't discussed yet. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm here to answer all of your questions. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.